Hey there, Frank Baker, Hunter Crone, the Lakefront Group. We're here today to talk about the WCID on these lakes, the Water Control Improvement District. So Hunter, let's chat a little bit about the WCID for those who may not know what that is.
It's a taxing district. So when these lakes, or Dunlap in specific, failed, GBRA, who owns and controls these lakes, did not have the funds to replace all these aging dams. And those dams are around 90 years old. So what the lakes did is each of the lakes got together and created a taxing district to tax ourselves so we could build a new dam. Because without that taxing district, this would be the Guadalupe River right behind us. By the way, we're on Lake Dunlap, which is now 100% full as of what, a few weeks ago?
A few weeks ago.
So
when you say them got together, they individually, there's a WCID for each lake. They're
correct.
Not together, but they're WCIDs for each lake.
Correct. So the best interest of that lake, it's not spread across, if McQueeney needs something more than Dunlap, you're not getting people fighting from lake to lake. Right. So Lake Dunlap has its own WCID taxing district. Again, Water Control Improvement District. Mm-hmm. But also, one of the things to point out, at least for Dunlap, McQueeney, and Placid, GBRA is contributing 100% of the gross revenue towards the debt service. So gross, not net. That's for you in accounting. That's gross is the much better number, bigger number. So, but that really does house. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm not expert on hydroelectric power, but our hydroelectric generator produces more revenue than McQueeney, Placid, and Meadow, which is one of the reasons our tax rate is lower. We mentioned discussing tax rates. Dunlap actually kind of lucked out. We got our contract in before all the crazy construction cost increases.
Interest rates and all that went up.
During COVID. Mm-hmm. We also got a 0% interest.
It was a good and bad thing. The bad thing was the dam collapsed and what do we do? Yeah. But the good thing was it happened at a time when rates were low, when all those things you just mentioned. So the tax for WCID for Lake Dunlap is 20 cents on the 100. And keep in mind, the WCID is only charged to residents or citizens in the city of New Braunfels that are not on the lake are not paying that. It's only the residents on the water.
That is a good point, because a lot of people get online and start whining about the taxes that they're paying for something that they don't have benefit. They set up these taxing districts for people who use the lake. Who
enjoy the water, live on the water. They're the ones going to pay for it.
Absolutely. So the cool thing about the tax rate, though, is yes, Dunlap lucked out by its dam failing first.
Yeah, that's kind of weird to say, but
it's weird to say, but so 20 cents. McQueeney is right around 48 cents, I believe. Mm-hmm. Placid and Meadow should be around $1. One of the things that I always reference when I'm talking to a buyer on this is look at, a lot of our buyers are buying second homes on the water, and they're from downtown Austin, downtown Dallas, downtown Houston, and a lot of their tax rates are right around the same as the tax rates here, even at $1 on Placid or Meadow, 3.5%. They're paying that at their homes in Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. So it's not an unrealistic tax rate. Also, one of the cool things about the tax rate is basically we have like a 30-year mortgage on the dam. Mm-hmm. And just like your home mortgage, your monthly payment is the same over that 30 years. But as property values increase, that tax rate's going to go down. Right. For instance, if they need $5,000 off of this property every single year, and this property doubles in value, that tax rate's going to be cut in half. Right. So eventually, say we're on Dunlap right now, this property, if every property on the lake doubles in value, there's going to be a 10-cent tax rate.
10 cent. Yeah. And the WCID is a nonprofit. It can't make money. So once the coffers are full enough to maintain the lake and the dam, then they have to reduce that rate if a surplus of funds end up in that account, correct?
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
But also, too, the board members on the WCIDs have to be in the district. So these are your fellow your neighbors.
Right.
You know, actually, I think the neighbor 2 doors down is on the board for the Lake Dunlap WCID.
Okay.
So they have your best interest in mind because they are also fellow property owners in the WCID.
And, you know, no one wants to pay extra taxes. You kind of relate it to like an HOA fee. You know, we don't have an HOA fee living on the lake, but we get to use the amenity of waterfront and water. So, okay, yeah, you're paying $1,000 a year or whatever in HOA fees. So that's the way I justify it in my mind. That, you know,
and that's a good way to see it as an HOA fee rather than a percentage on your tax statement.
Exactly.
Because that's ultimately what they're going to be doing. I mean, granted, if we're in a drought and the hydroelectric generator's not producing as much, they're going to need more from the homeowners. Mm-hmm. But then again, if there's a surplus and we're getting a lot of rain, a lot of flow, these generators are producing a lot of revenue, then our tax rate gets to go down.
Right.
But for the most part, they need a specific amount of money off of each property every single year.
Right. And obviously the residents that live along the water don't mind paying the extra WCID because they voted for the approval of the board and voted for building the dam.
Yeah.
So they were willing to incur that cost.
Yeah, it was around 90% for Dunlap, McQueeney, and Placid.
Meadow just had over 80% vote for it. So it was overwhelming that everyone felt you definitely want a lake back. You
Absolutely.
don't want a river out there.
I mean, people bought a lake house. They didn't buy it. Yes, the Guadalupe River runs through, but they chose a lake house, not a river house.
For sure.
Also, let's talk value. You're an appraiser. Mm-hmm. You know, with the lake in your backyard, is your property going to be worth significantly more than if it was just the river?
If it was originally, like it was originally set up as a lakefront home, yes, you would lose 30% probably in value, just keeping a river out there. So yeah, it definitely affects the value of the home. In Meadow Lake, they just went through this with their election, and that was a part of the argument that, you know, we're losing value on our waterfront homes here because, you know, we only have a river out here now, and it was designed to be a lake. Fortunately, the voters approved it and agreed, and so they approved it. So we're going to have Meadow Lake back here real soon.
As well as McQueeney and Placid.
As well as McQueeney and Placid. So if you have any other questions about the WCID, you know, reach out to the Lakefront group. We'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
And if we can't, we'll point you in the right direction. We know a lot of the board members, and we can give them a call on their cell phones. Don't tell them we said that.
For sure. Have a great day.